Welcome to Tafe, New South Wales, Western Sydney region. My name's David Berger and today I'm going to do a design with the dahlia flower. The dahlia is such a beautiful seasonal flower and comes in so many different forms and varieties, and this particular spider type one is a really beautiful one that has a coloration of a little bit of the apricot yellows and the peaches in the one flower. One of the things with dahlias are, though, they love to be presented in water wherever possible. So the mechanics of this particular design are quite interesting. What I've actually done is filled the center part of the vase with floral foam, but left two wells each side of the vase completely free of the foam, because the dahlia flowers are actually going to rest down in those empty places within the container, which will actually be in water. And I'm using the foam a little bit more as a packer in this particular design. The floral foam is quite an interesting thing and it can be used in quite different ways. So what this will do will hydrate the flowers, because the floral foam will be around their stems and the water as well. So it will actually hydrate them, but it'll also keep them nice and firmly in place. So it's a great little tip to do if you know you've got a very soft type of flower, a dahlia, or even a different type of very soft stem flower. If you leave a little gap in the floral foam in the container where it's just a well or reservoir of water, then the flowers are actually secured by the foam, but their stems are resting down directly into the water. So I can bring the flowers down over the side of the vase as well by angling them slightly. So at the moment I've just got them all placed in that little gap. You can still see that they're quite movable in that particular area of the arrangement, but then when I build it up into the center with some different things, we're going to wedge the flowers down slightly more so that they will be nice and secure. The other thing that you might notice that I'm doing is leaving the stems quite long, so the stems are actually well down into the underneath the edge of the container, so they'll both sit in the water but be quite stable. I'm going to use some flowering ginger heads in this design, and I have some of the leaves off the base of them as well, because we always want to utilize everything from the material that we can. These particular leaves I am placing in that center part of the foam, and what I've done is stripped the edges of the leaf off and left the heavy midrib. So that's where the leaf actually does the majority of its drinking through. So that will allow the leaf to drink, but it won't split the floral foam when you place the stem into it. It's a nice small insertion point in the foam. So you can see I'm building up the center. What I'm going to do then with the beautiful ginger flowers is those as well go into the center of the arrangement, and they're into the floral foam, and that way I can angle them and get some nice height into the design. When we're talking about design as well, what we want to think about is repetition, and the reason that I've chosen these particular dahlias and the ginger to go together is the form or the repetition of the petals of the dahlia and the form and shape of the ginger is actually very similar. So it almost looks like these dahlias and the ginger are from the one flower family, but they're very far apart in their in the types of flowers they are. But the actual petal shape on the dahlia and the unopened petal of the ginger are very similar, so it gives you a little bit of a repetition. So now that I've dressed one side of the arrangement and I've done the center, what I can also do now is start to dress the other side of the design. So these particular spider chrysanthemums, or a spider dahlia, are another really beautiful flower, but they are very soft. So they really do need to be presented in water wherever possible, or utilised on the floral foam very low so that the floral foam is actually supporting the flower head. So with the dahlia flower, we really use those like a colour and a form. They're not really a flower that is used a lot as a line. So cutting them quite short and placing them down into the base of an arrangement is quite an acceptable thing, because we're after that beautiful massed spider form that they're creating. We're not looking to feature the stem and the head of the flower like we do some other flowers that are featured as a line flower. So dahlias are available for a fairly short season during the year, maybe between 6 to 8 weeks. They come in the flush of the very hottest weather, so you need to be really careful with their use, and as I've said, putting them into the water is the best way to get the whole life out of the flower. Also, they can have a little bit of a spray with water just to freshen the flower up, but they don't like too much spraying of the flower because they have a cupped head, and if too much water sits in that head, it will actually rot the head of the dahlia. So you just need to make a few considerations when using the beautiful flower, but you can see they make an absolutely spectacular design, and this repetition between the ginger and the dahlia is quite unexpected but really works quite well together, and it's giving a little bit of height to the edges of it with a touch of green through it, and the two distinct faces of the groupings of dahlias on the side in the metallic container gives a very traditional flower a very modern feel. So our contemporary dahlia arrangement from Western Sydney region floristry.